Morning student, I am Purnima and once again I stand before you to speak on the topic to continue the lesson, the enemy. So children, Hannah and Dr. Sodayo, they went and what did they see? They see that that man was lying on the ground and children, that man when he was lying on the ground, he was badly, deeply wounded and he was children, he was deeply wounded and he was uh, uh, he was deeply wounded and he children he was almost in a verge of death. So he Dr. Sodayo, being a doctor, children, he was in a dilemma. He thought whether he should save him because he was belonging from USA Navy, and at that time, children, it was World War II was going on. At that time, Japan was the greatest enemy of USA. USA was the greatest enemy of Japan. So, children, Dr. Sodayo thought whether he should save him or not. Okay, so he should save him or not, but children, they were thinking that if they will save him, they will be caught by the police. If anybody will tell that they have saved an enemy, so the whole family will be sent to prison, and the Dr. Soda will lose not only lose his family, he will lose his career also. So they were all feeling, Hannah and Dr. Soda was not able to decide that what they should do, whether they should carry the man there or they should leave him there. If they will carry him, people will be asking about him, and he should be children sent to the prison. So finally, he started children feeling what to do and what not to do. So finally, children, what they have decided, decided that Hannah and Dr. Sudhakar decided that they will carry that person to their home. They will give him shelter because being a doctor, he did not want to see that fellow should die. So they thought that they would carry him to the place where um, he should be kept as a prisoner. Okay. So finally, children, what happened? Dr. Sudhao, he was children. He took him. He gave him shelter, and children. The servant, though the servant had revolted, They started telling that he should. They should not save a person from the enemy side, but they did not listen. The servant left them. The whole family was in great problem, Hannah, but they have worked very hard, okay, to save Dr. Sudao. Now, children, I'm going to read that part of the lesson from where we have till here we have done page number 29. Okay. What if he should die? Now, children, they had carried him, Dr. Sudao. He had children. He had given his father bed. He was being given shelter in his father's room, and he told Hannah that if he will not be operated, very soon he would die. Um, the question is whether he will not die anyway. Hannah cried out to fear, don't try to save him. What if he should leave? Now Hannah told him, but Hannah had this feeling, but suppose if we will save him, then what we will do with him? What if he should die? Dr. Sudhakar told him, then what we will do if he will die? And they started looking at I'm here at page number 30. Okay, they started looking at that person. Okay. He was down on the motionless. They started looking at the motionless man. This man must have extraordinary vitality or he would have been dead by now. Now they started telling that this man is having a extraordinary vitality, energy, otherwise he would have dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not, he had 25 also. And when they looked at his age, Dr. Sudhao told that he is only 25, not more than that. You mean die from the operation, Hannah asked. Yes, Sudhao said. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sudhao turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him. So finally Dr. Sudhao told that we should do something for that man. We cannot leave like that him to die. This was his doctor's voice, not the voice of Dr. Sudhao. It was the voice of a doctor who wanted to get him operated, and he wanted to save that person. Well, Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sudhao turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him, he said, and first he must be washed. He went quickly out of the room, and Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. Now, children, he told first he should be washed, first we should clean all his wound and everything, and then he will get operated. So, Hannah, he went outside maybe to warm up the water, to bring a warm water for getting him washed. Hannah did not like to stay alone with that man. She also came behind Dr. Sudhao. He was the first she had seen since she had left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Now, children, he was the first American person to whom she is seeing after leaving America. Okay, in fact, she also did not like to see them. It seemed that they have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was her enemy, a menace, living or dead. So menace is a danger. He told, she started considering that man as a menace. Menace means a danger. She started telling that this man maybe it is a menace, whether he is living or he is dead. When she turned to the nursery and called Yumi, then she called Yumi. Yumi was her cook and the servant who used to look after the children also. But the children heard her voice, and she had to go to for a moment and smile at them and play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. So children heard her voice, and she had to go to her for a moment to the bedroom of the children. She smiled at the children and play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. And children, mother Hannah, she started playing with her son who was nearly 3 months old. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, Yumi, come with me. Now children, then she called Yumi, and she told Yumi to come with me. I will put the baby to bed, Yumi replied. He is ready. Now she told him, I will put the baby to bed, then I will come. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and led the baby between them. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The 2 servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. Now children, in the meantime, they had told everything to the and they told children everything to the servant, and they told the servant that he is an American fellow, and they would be operating him very soon because he is not well. Now, when I will put the baby to bed, Yumi replied, he is ready. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and led the baby between them. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The 2 servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled a few hairs on his upper lips. So children, the 2 servants, even they did not like when they were told that they have bought an enemy and just for the operation. So they did not like it. The master ought not to heal the wound of this white man. he said bluntly to Hannah. So the gardener, who was also doing the work of a servant, he told Hannah, the master should not have brought that enemy into the house. The white man ought to die. First he was shot, then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rocks. If the master hears what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us. So he told Dylan, he was the gardener, he was very superstitious. He told that this man to whom you are saving, he has been almost killed by the gun, and the sea almost killed him. And you are saving, so these two things will be taking revenge for you, the gun and the sea. And if he would not have been a good person, that's why children he was shot and he was wounded once again by the sea. And you are saving such a person, so these two things will be taking revenge on you. I will tell him what you say, Hannah replied courteously, but she herself was also frightened, although she was not superstitious as the old man. Now children, even Hannah was frightened, okay, because everybody was saying the same thing, he don't save him. Though she was not so much superstitious as the old man, but could it ever be well to help the enemy? But children, this feeling was coming to her, that could it be, children, safe to help an enemy? Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. And children, she wanted that. Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. Children, I am in page number 31. She went ahead and slid back the partitions. Sadao was not yet there. Now, children, she did not told. At first, she told Yumi to help the white person, but then she did not tell her. She went ahead and slid back the partition. Sadao was not yet there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man, where she saw him. Her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. I have never washed a white man, she said, and I will not wash so dirty even now. Now, children, Yumi, she told Yumi to wash the person after that when she did not see her husband. Yumi, with a wooden bucket, was behind Hannah, but when she saw that he was a man of an enemy, okay, she could not, children, bear to wash him. She did not want to touch him also. So straight away she told that I have never washed a white person, and I will never wash him also. Okay, because he is from my enemy side, and he is so dirty that he could not do that. Hannah cried at her severely, you will do what your master commands you. Hannah was still taken back. She told me, this is my order. Whatever your master is commanding you, that you have to follow. You don't have to give lectures. But Yumi, children, she told straight away, she refused that I cannot touch this dirty fellow. And mainly, children, she did not want to wash him because he was an American person. Okay. So there was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. When Hannah told her, she gave such a cold look to Yumi that Yumi got scared, and she did not have a heart to say once again to wash him. And if the servants should report something, that was not as it happened. So children, her biggest trouble of Hannah was that suppose if the servant reports something to the police, then they will all go to the jail, and in this way the whole life would be spoiled of children, of his husband, his career, and even her life would be spoiled. So she did not force her to wash the person. Very well, she said with dignity. You understand, we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prison. So she told him we only wanted to bring him into in his senses so that we can turn him over a prisoner. And afterward we can hand him over to the police. I will have nothing to do with it. So Yumi said, I am a poor person, it is not my business. So Yumi replied, this is not my business, what I can say here in this matter. Okay, it is your work, and whatever you feel like doing, she told that you do it. I will have nothing to do with it, said Yumi. I am a poor person. It is not my business. No, Yumi straight away told her, this is not my business, but I have nothing to do with it. And whatever children she's telling, it pleases you, you do it. Then please, Hannah said gently, return to your own work. So Hannah simply told him that you return to your own work. At once Yumi left the room, but this left Hannah with the white man alone. She might have been too afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi stubbornness now sustained her. So at once Yumi left the room, but this left Hannah with the white man alone. She might have not been afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi stubbornness now sustained her. She did feel bad. Okay, and children, you write the meaning of sustain. Sustain means kept going. Okay, so children, business here is work. So she told you can carry on with your work, and she was very angry at Yumi's children stubbornness now sustained her. So sustained means you can write kept going. Her angriness was, children, she was very angry, and this angriness she did not want to show to Yumi. Stupid Yumi, she muttered fiercely, is this anything but a man, and a wounded, helpless man? So she told Yumi that she is such a stupid lady that she is not seeing the condition of that man. He would not be able to even to speak to her. He is a complete wounded, helpless man. In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rug that kept the white man covered. Now, children, she was so angry that now, children, she started helping. She thought that without taking help, okay, I will help the wounded man and wash him herself. So she untied the knotted rugs and that kept the white man covered. When she had this dressed bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. So she started, children, helping that man. She started washing the face of that man carefully. This man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. She started, children, admiring the skin of that person. Okay, she was this man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. So while she was thinking this thought, now children, page number 32. Okay. Now, so page number 32. While she was thinking this thought, though not really liking the man better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. But she dared not turn him over where was the down. Now, children, she washed the upper portion of the body, though he was not that man better, though not really liking the man better now, but that he was no longer a child. She kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. But she dared not turn him over where now she started finding. So now, okay, now her anger was ebbing. Okay, so children, ebbing means declining. Now, children, she was so angry with Hannah and with that man also, but now, children, her anger was declining. Okay, her anger it was declining. Now she was not that much angry. Well, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean, but she dared not turn him over. She did not have a heart to turn him over. Where was Sadao? Now her anger was ebbing. and she was anxious again, and she rose, wiping her hands on the wrong towel. Then, lest the man eat it, she put the quilt over man. Now, children, she started feeling uh, that man is not feeling well, and he is feeling cold. She pulled the quilt over him. Sadao, she called softly. He had been about to come in when she called. His hand had been on the door, and now he opened it. She saw that he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag, and that he wore his surgeon coat. Now, children, when suddenly she saw that her husband, he was wearing that coat. Okay, he was wearing that coat, and he bought his surgeon's emergency bag. That means he was having firm determination that he is going to get that person operated. Yes, he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonoma. Tokonoma, children, is you can see it is written here. What is written here? A niche or an alcove in a Japanese home for displaying a flower arrangement, Pokimono or other piece of art. So, children, it was sort of a table where people used to put some piece of art or some, they used to decorate flower, they used to put flower vase there. So that was the thing. So, children, she told, okay, you have decided to operate. He told yes, he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of the tokonoma alcove and put his instrument out upon it. And he started putting instrument on it. Fetch towel, he said. She went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towel. Now, children, she was helping to her husband. He was also in a mood to help her. Okay. So she went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towel. There ought also to be old pieces of matting so that the blood would not ruin the fine floor covering. Now, children, a mat was there on the floor, a fine covering, and she knew that the blood would be there. So she it would ruin the fine floor covering. She went out to the back veranda where the gardener kept a stripe of matting which wished to protect the delicate shrub on cold night, and took an armful of them. But when she went back into the room, she saw this was useless. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's hood and had ruined the mat cover under him. But children, she wanted to take from the garden to save the flooring mat, but she could not. When she came, she already thought that the blood had spoiled the mat. Yes, it is ruined, Soda replies, as though he did not care. Help him to turn him. He is only telling, help him to turn him. He commanded her. She obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man wax carefully. Yumi would not wash him, she said. Did you wash him then? Sada asked, not stooping for a moment, his swift, concise movement. Now, when she told Yumi did not want to wash him, Dr. Soda cross-questioned her that even who did not want to wash him. Yes, she said. He did not seem to hear her, but she was used to his absorption when he was at work. Now, she did not want to disturb him. Her husband was totally paying full concentration at his work. Okay, now he is going to operate. He wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, and as it was for the work he did so excellently. You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it, he said. Now he told his wife, only thing now you have to help him, that you will give him some anesthesia. Then only it will help him. She repeatedly blankly, but never have it. It is easy enough, he said impatiently. He was talking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon light fastened on his forehead. The bullet is still there. Now, children, he started doing the operation. He told the bullet is still there, and he said with cool interest, now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. Now he started looking at the wound, and he found, children, that this wound was very deep. was taking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. Now, children, he started clearing the wound with the help of the surgeon's light, which was fastened on his forehead. The bullet is still there. Now he's telling you, okay, the bullet is still there, he said with cool interest. Now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet. Now he's telling, if the bullet is not too deep, then I can take that out. But the bleeding is not superficial, he has lost much blood. At the same time, doctor told that the bleeding was very much. At this moment, Hannah chopped. He looked up and saw her face the color of sulfur. Her face became yellowish because she was not able to tolerate the operation. She had never seen the operation. Children, this made her sick, her wound open and all that. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. He told, if I will not operate him, he will surely die. She clapped her hand to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching, but he went on with the work. So, children, he saw her retching, but he was helpless. He thought if he would stop, the man would certainly die. Retching is, children, she trying to vomit. So, children, this was a situation. It will be better for her to empty her stomach. He thought he had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like dead under his knife. Now, children, he started feeling that how helpless he was, because he was not able to help Hannah at this time, because if he will leave that person, he will surely die. So he was feeling very helpless. And then at the same time, he thought that it is good that she had emptied her stomach. Now page number 34. This man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should leave. Now he is telling that there is no reason that why this man should leave. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly in his dream. The man moaned, but Sodao paid no heed except to mutter at him. Now, children, the man, the person who was getting operated, he was not knowing what was happening with him. Okay, he was unconsciously, he was ruthless. Now, children, here, children, unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly. And children, here he became very cool-hearted. He wanted to get rid with him. He started quickly. He started doing the operation. In his dream, the man moaned, but Soda took no heed except to mutter at him. Now, children, he started moaning. Moaning means crying, but Soda paid no attention. Okay, what did he told? He told him, let him do whatever he is, and let him do my work. Groan, he muttered, groan if you like. I'm not doing for this for my pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I'm doing it. Now, children, when he started moaning, Dr. Sodao felt angry. He told, why I'm doing all this thing, why I'm helping this man. Even I don't know why I am helping this man. So, children, the door opened and there was Hannah again. Hannah again came inside. Now, where is the ascetic? She asked in a clear voice. Sodao motioned with his chin. It is as well that you came back. He said, this fellow is beginning to stay. Now she told him, now I need your help, because he is moving, he is moaning, and at this time I need your help. She had the bottle and some water in her hand. Now she had the bottle and some water in her hand. But how shall I do it? She asked. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostril. Now he told, this is the time I need your help, because I want that he should get fainted. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to get him operated. If he will stay, if he will student, once again I'm explaining that Hannah and they were studying. So it was Hannah and they were standing, and when they saw that man, he came from there.